Welcome to Life Breakthrough Points. In this series, we do not read dead books. We uncover the spiritual treasures that can break mental strongholds and turn the direction of a person's life. I'm your companion on the journey. Today, we are going to unpack a mental trap that almost every modern person falls into: settling anxiety and age anxiety. Have you noticed that we are living heavier and heavier lives? We always want to grasp onto things that are absolutely unchanging. We desperately want to buy a massive house of our own. We crave a job position where we will never be laid off, or we exhaust all our strength to resist aging and retain our youth and health. We treat these things as the security blanket of our lives. But the brutal reality is that houses age, jobs fluctuate, and bodies inevitably decline day by day. As a result, we live in extreme anxiety every day over things that are bound to wear out, trapping ourselves in endless overthinking and mental burnout. Today we are going back to the final chapter of the spiritual classic by F.B. Meyer, Peter, Fisherman, Disciple, Apostle. At the sunset of his life, this apostle Peter, who used to be impulsive and always wanted to be number one, displayed a shocking calmness when facing death and aging. In this book, Meyer uncovers a profound yet highly overlooked word by modern people. Through this word, Peter shows us a complete tent philosophy to cure our overthinking. In the first chapter of 2 Peter, when Peter refers to his own death and aging, he uses a phrase, "putting off this tent." In the context of the Greek language, this word refers to the action of nomadic tribes dismantling their temporary shelters during a journey. Peter views our physical bodies and everything we possess in this world as a temporary, fragile tent. Meyer analyzes in the book that Peter's philosophy instantly shatters our flawed perception of this world. Just imagine, if you go camping in the wild, would you lose sleep and be anxious every day over the wearing out of a tent? If the wind and sun cause the tent to fade, or if the zipper gets a bit stuck, would you feel like your life is ruined? Absolutely not. Because you know that a tent is inherently temporary. It is just a transitional tool on your journey. Your destination is not this tent, but the real, solid home waiting for you at the end of the journey. But the pain of us, modern people, lies in the fact that we have put the cart before the horse. We take this temporary tent, which was originally only meant for camping, and treat it as a permanent castle. We bet all our painstaking efforts, assets, and sense of security on this tent that is destined to wear out and grow old. The moment the tent shows a tiny crack, like when you find your first gray hair or your company's business faces a bit of turbulence, you feel like the sky is falling. At the final stage of his life, as Peter looked at his own weathered, aging tent that was about to be dismantled, not only was he not afraid, he actually called his death an exodus. In Greek, this word means the way out, representing a pathway to freedom. To Peter, death was not a sigh from a palace to a dungeon, but a path of joy and celebration from a narrow prison cell to eternal light. He knew that by stepping out of this worn-out tent, he was about to step into that true dwelling in heaven, not made by human hands. So how can we apply Peter's tent philosophy to diagnose and cure the mental overthinking of us modern people? We can look at your current life state through the following 5 tests. The first test: do you have severe settling anxiety? If you find that your entire sense of happiness is tied to having to own a house or having to maintain a certain social status, and you feel life is completely meaningless once you lose it, it means you have already treated the tent as a castle. The second test: are you in excessive pain over inevitable wear and tear? As you age, it is inevitable for bodily functions to decline. If you spend massive amounts of energy every day being anxious about the gray hairs on your head and the wrinkles on your face and feel defeated by them, it shows you have not accepted the temporary nature of the tent. The third test: are you afraid of an unknown tomorrow? If you are always projecting anxiety about your retirement and health 10 or 20 years from now, it is because you are trying to make this fragile tent withstand the wind and rain of decades to come. The fourth test: how much tolerance do you have for loss? When some external possessions are taken away in life, do you feel like I have one less tool for my journey? Or do you feel like my life has been hollowed out? The fifth test. Do you care more about the journey itself or about the tent staying intact? In this lifetime, do you spend more time decorating this temporary tent, or do you spend more time experiencing life, loving, and connecting with the eternal Lord? Meyer laments in his book that at the end of his life, Peter completely let go of his obsession with material things and physical perfection. He lived out a nomadic perspective on life. If you find that you scored high in the tests above and realize you are deeply trapped in overthinking, here are 3 specific life upgrade strategies to help lighten the load on your soul. The first strategy: adopt a nomadic perspective on life. Remind yourself once every morning, everything I possess today, including my health and wealth, are merely tools for my camping in this world today. They are great, but they are not my destination. When your perspective switches from a settler to a nomad, you will find that the gains and losses that kept you awake with anxiety instantly become much lighter. The second strategy: stop overthinking over the wearing out of the tent. Accept the aging of your body and the transitions in your environment. An old tent simply means you have walked far enough on the journey and experienced enough scenery. Don't waste your energy repairing a tent that is destined to be dismantled. Save your energy for things that can be brought into eternity, like the growth of wisdom, the giving of love, and the abundance of the soul. The third strategy: focus on the pathway, not the dead end. Peter viewed death and loss as an exodus, the pathway out of Egypt. Try to practice this in life. When a project fails or a relationship ends, do not look at it as a dead end, but see it as the pathway where God takes you out of your current campsite and leads you to the next, more beautiful place. Just as Meyer wrote in the chapter The Afterglow, the long night of fishing has ended, and Jesus has arrived at the water's edge to welcome Peter. Peter crossed the boundary marker of death, entering the vast ocean from the limitations of the harbor. The greatest overthinking in life often stems from our obsession with holding on to temporary things. But the true breakthrough is to use this tent with gratitude while looking up to that eternal home with hope. If you want to deeply experience that grace and calmness at the sunset of Peter's life, I highly recommend you read the last 2 chapters of F.B. Meyer's classic work, Peter, Fisherman, Disciple, Apostle. We have also organized both ebook and print version that is more suitable for modern reading, and the link is right below. Thank you for watching this episode of Breakthrough Points. If you want to receive this kind of spiritual wisdom that smashes cognitive barriers and flips your life state every day in this chaotic world, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. Let go of your heavy burdens and travel light like a nomad. See you next time.